group of men. You go find them, you throw your arms around them, you give them a big kiss on the mouth.
This is PTR Radio.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of PTR Radio here on the fabulous interweb. I am going to tell you right now, if you are under 30, this may not be the show for you. Usually, we don't throw an age disclaimer out there. Although this show is rated E for explicit, but in this case, the E stands for elderly. That's right. You got a bunch of old farts who are falling apart. And this is another episode of Get Off Our Lawn. You know?
Yeah.
You don't take care of this grass, you don't get to ruin it by stepping on it. Man. It's hell getting old. It really is. It sucks. You know, I don't know
seriously, I don't know if they're I thought it was a joke, like getting over the hump kind of thing, or but I swear, as soon as Kim and I turned 50, which was earlier this year, everything started to break.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's just because, at least for me, I didn't take better care of myself when I was younger. I was one of those, I don't go to the doctor unless I'm really sick. Otherwise, just tough it out, rub some dirt in it or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that catching up to me or just the fact that I don't know.
Well,
I truly do not know.
I think we were the last rub some dirt on it generation, but I also, my wife tells me all the time that, she's paying for her mistakes when she was younger now. And I fully agree with that statement. Unless you were streaming buckets of blood, you didn't go to the hospital, and most of the time you hid your injuries from your parents because you didn't want to get in trouble for whatever it is that had gotten you hurt. So,
God, don't tell my mama these are my school pants. Don't tell her.
Yeah,
that kind of thing, right?
I played in my good clothes. I was talking to the grandkids, and they thought that the concept of jumping off swings was completely foreign to them. And I'm like, what? How else are you going to pretend you're Superman if you don't jump off of a swing? Once you get it to where the leg is hopping off of the ground because you're swinging so high. That's just what you got to do. So, I hate to say it, but kids these days don't know what real fun is like.
All right, so Bill Cosby did a whole bit about this, like the playground and growing up, and he's like, we had our playground. It was an old abandoned lot, and there was broken glass and tin cans and nails and everything all over it, and nobody got hurt. We never lost one kid. Not one kid died. And then the grown-ups, they did this thing, and they brought in the monkey bars. The monkey bars came in. We lost 147 kids in one day. Right?
Well,
and then they had the merry-go-round thing, the self-propelled merry-go-round thing like that, and the teeter-totter, the seesaw, that was the other.
The merry-go-round is otherwise called the kid centrifuge, But
the fact that playgrounds started having that rubber mulch to protect kids when they fell, that may have been the sign.
All it did was turn your clothes black. That's all it did.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, because back then it was just really chopped up tires. They didn't even try to make it look like mulch.
No.
I was on social media last week, and I think I posted this on Facebook. I said I read something where somebody referred to Gen X as boomer lights or diet boomers, and I never felt so threatened and attacked in my entire life. To compare me to a light version of a boomer is damn near it's offensive, and I believe no one would stop me from throat punching you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It depends which end of Generation X you're actually on.
Well,
because we actually, at the shoulders, I'm 1977. I think 76 on. There's that.
I thought you were going to say you were. I thought you were saying you are 77, and I'm like, you are not 77 years old yet. You may feel that way, but you're not 77 years old yet. Okay.
So we actually have those born around the end of Generation X. They actually give us our own category because. Unlike the rest of Generation X, which really is boomer light, the earlier Generation X, I would say pre-Mike Generation X, they're the ones who, they didn't really understand the cell phones and the stuff. Those of us at the end, we were the ones who were fixing the VCRs in the class for the teacher to get them to stop flashing the numbers. We were the generation that actually invented the cell phone in the first place. So those of us at the end of Generation X, we're actually, we're fine. But earlier Generation X, yeah. Not so
now,
good.
It's funny too because this came up on Threads that somebody was talking about calling themselves not a xenial, but basically like joining two generations together. And this person, let me see if I can find it real quick because I'm never really that active on Threads.
Yeah.
So I should be able to just find my activity, maybe. I go, buys, here we go. So somebody said, they were pointing out some inaccuracies, blah, blah, blah. Likewise, designations such as Gen X and Millennial do have hard and fast divisions as they are generational divides. My reply to that was, I would love to hear you debate gender.
I was watching a it's kind of fun. I was watching Pinell County Sheriff YouTube channel today while I was working. And
the one who basically told everyone, or told everyone who was not a store owner, yeah, we are the land of FAFO now.
No, this is the guy who does traffic stops.
Okay. All
yeah,
right. I'm sorry. I was thinking of the guy in South Carolina.
No. This is Arizona. And he one guy was he asked him. He's like, does your car identify as a bicycle? And the guy goes, no. Why? He goes, well, because you kept two wheels in the bicycle lane for the last 5 miles. So I was just curious. So, I'm like, well, that's a good one. That's a good one. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's just, and the reason why this came to mind is because, we were talking a few months ago about how Gen Z is starting to enter the workforce, and maybe they don't understand quite how work works. I think in that one we were talking about how bosses are having to adjust to the Gen Z worker. All right. Well, now it's been a few months. All right. It's been a few years since Gen Z entered the workforce. And what we're finding is that work doesn't work when you try and work the Gen Z way. So bosses are finding that they're having to fire Gen Z grads months after they're hiring them because they just can't grasp simple concepts. According to a new report, 6 in 10 employers say they have already sacked some of their Gen Z workers they hired fresh out of college earlier this year. After experiencing a raft of problems with young new hires, 1 in 6 bosses say they're hesitant to hire college grads again. Meanwhile, 1 in 7 bosses have admitted they may avoid hiring them altogether next year. Gen Z grads are unprepared and unprofessional. 50% of leaders cited that they lack motivation and initiative. Yeah. Bosses point to Gen Zs as being unprofessional, unorganized, and having poor communication skills as the top reasons for having to terminate employees.
I truly believe that the COVID lockdowns contributed to this. Because you got so used to let me rephrase that. I believe that this is a contributing factor to the larger push to return to the office after the whole work from home movement.
Probably.
Because these Gen Zs do not know how to commit to work. They're at home on a laptop and realize that they can do all this other stuff, or they could be anywhere.
Yeah.
And they are not focusing on their job.
Well, when you see these TikToks,
unfortunately, but that's what everybody associates work from home with, which is why folks like us who have worked from home long before COVID are getting really screwed here.
Well, when you see these TikToks of these people that say, well, I work from home, but so I just work 2 or 3 jobs at the same time,
Again.
or hey, here's me working from home. Meanwhile, I'm traveling in a van all over the country, which could be possible for you to do, but you have to be super regimented about what you're doing.
Well, and a lot of it depends on the type of work you're doing.
Yeah.
If your job is measured in any kind of widget, be it lines of code, projects written, papers graded, something that is a tangible widget that can be measured, and you meet your goals or expectations, doesn't matter where you're doing it. Not all jobs require collaboration. That's the other thing that people need to realize. God damn it.
Yeah. No, 100%. More than half of the hiring managers they surveyed have come to the conclusion that college grads are unprepared for the world of work.
Because they're coddled.
Oh, yeah.
They're coddled. Here, we can't fail you because then you'll claim that I don't like you and your feelings were hurt. So you'll get some kind of, no, I'm not allowed to fail you.
Cisco's top executive in the UK, who dropped out of school at 16 years old, says attitude and aptitude are more important than whatever letters you have after your name or whatever qualifications you have on a sheet. Now, I will say, I absolutely agree with that sentiment. Okay? I wish I could hire based on attitude and fit, and part of attitude is always willingness to learn. Unfortunately, that is not the way that my world works. And there are some base level requirements that you must meet. And we're trying to adjust the world a little bit to fit with those a touch better. But, to some degree, but attitude and aptitude go a long way. And if you don't have those, I'm sorry, but I have no use for you.
Yeah. When I'm seeing jobs being posted for data entry clerks or similar type jobs, saying that they need a bachelor's degree. But what the hell kind of data am I inputting here?
Yeah.
Is this input or analyst? Like, you need a bachelor's degree to work the fry machine at McDonald's now, apparently?
Yeah.
That's, the requirements do get out of control sometimes. And I think part of that is to weed stuff out. But somebody wiser than me once told me that college is not proving anything than your ability to learn.
It proves your determination.
Yes.
So
It's about
whatever-
teaching people how to think correctly and how to research correctly. And if you already know how to do those two things, then it's quite as useful. But a lot of people just can't do it, so it's important.
Boy, I loathe the question that I always get asked of, well, did you learn everything that you do in college? Because I'm like, I didn't learn anything that I use on a day-to-day basis in college, other than maybe my people skills, which is a huge part. But, a lot of that was also over time.
I'm working on network elements and network topologies or equipment that weren't even invented when I graduated college.
Yeah.
To be fair. So,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But that's
if
why
you're
I
in a
never
tech
got back
field,
to
it's a lot
college.
different. Yeah.
Because I went into class and I'm reading these textbooks, and they're like, these textbooks are like 13 years behind, and none of this matters.
That is why, I used to think this was stupid, but after the fact, I think there was some intelligence behind the thought. One of the schools here, they actually say, we don't teach languages. We don't teach programming languages. We teach theory. Because we want to teach you the theory behind a for loop, or a theory behind a conditional statement, or the theory behind, branches, or whatever it is. Because the theory behind that structure is more important than how you actually implement it in language A, B, C, or D. How that structure actually works and what the intent behind it is more important, because the language that you implement that in is going to change over time and could be anything. So if you understand the basics of what that structure is, then you can apply it to any language, and it teaches you that problem solving idea. So, I thought that was stupid when I first started, but now that I'm older and wiser, I'm thinking, oh, you know what? That was a lot more thoughtful than teaching me one particular language that I would be locked into and that I wouldn't know how to, take those general concepts and apply them, later on down the line. Now, I probably could have done it anyway.
When I said the book was 13 years out of date, I don't mean it was teaching an old version of a programming language. I mean the theory in it was 13 years out of date. Yeah. It was teaching theories that had been, some had been superseded, but some of them had been proven wrong.
Yeah. And
it's just like,
and I mean, even theories do change over time. So,
they're theories.
Yeah. So, but
they get they're not laws, they're theories.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Go ahead.
On this whole subject, though, I did want to hit something because I do have a mini rant here of something I didn't know. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what I was saying earlier about that shoulder, Generation X to Millennial. Well, that was Zennial with an X. And now they've decided that there's another shoulder generation between Millennials and Generation Z, and they decided to call them Zennials with a Z. So now you have two generations with the same pronunciation. And now, I guess some people in retrospect have decided to start calling my group Xennials. That's stupid sounding. So,
yeah. No,
so the big question is, what are the proper pronouns for each generation?
Well,
I'm sorry. I
identify as a meat popsicle. So,
But that's the thing. You look at Generation Z.
Popsicle. Yes.
You look at Generation Z. The generation, the kids right now that are still in school, have not gotten to college yet, and that is a very pragmatic generation, as far as I can tell so far, that thinks that everything that the millennials were doing was so silly. And so it's just looking at going, it's interesting that it's going back and forth. At least we aren't getting more and more of the same.
So there is one school, at least, this is a Fortune article, that is trying to counter this Gen Z mindset. Okay. And the way that they're going about this is they've instituted a 12-hour school day, which much more closely aligns to a typical work day, to be completely honest. And they also have a smartphone ban, and they've implemented public speaking lessons, which is a requirement in college, but is only like a quarter, class, maybe a semester at most, so it's a step in the right direction. We've said, hey, maybe you need adulting classes in high school. So they're getting close here. All Saints Catholic College in London, its head teacher is trialing out a 12-hour school day with breakfast time and dinner, as well as bringing in public speaking lessons and a smartphone ban, all in a bid to prepare pupils for adult life. The pilot launched.
What grades are we talking about?
So let's see here. The youngest of whom are 11 years old. Doesn't say what the. They range from 11 to 16. 900 pupils in. Only 120 are taking part in the program out of 900. It runs from 7 a.m. to 6:30 Monday through Thursday.
See, to me, that's like, oh, we've decided that what we want you to do is be a cog in the machine, and from from age 11, you will no longer be your own person. You will be a cog in our machine, and the rest of the time you will be asleep.
Well, but they're...
Welcome to slavedom.
Well, but the extra hours are filled with cooking lessons, public speaking lessons. They get opportunities to do basketball training, finish homework. They get to enjoy an evening meal with classmates where they actually are encouraged to talk to each other because they don't have phones.
So, all right, so let's stop and think about this for a second, because a regular school day, at least around here, I'm going to say is like 8 to 3.
Yeah, pretty close.
All right, for high school.
Mm-hmm.
And if you add a couple of hours where you're feeding the kids, and you add, some of these kids don't come home until 6 anyway.
Yeah,
if they're doing like after school sports and what have you in clubs. Mm-hmm. So it's not terrible.
No.
But what it's kind of doing is it's making it mandatory, because you'd always have those fuck-alls that would be like, oh, well, I'm going to do whatever I can. I'm going to take 3 study halls my senior year so I can get out of school at 1 and hit the arcade before everybody else gets out. That kind of bullshit. So it's, I think it's a start. I don't necessarily agree with it, but it's not quite as bad as it sounds when you start breaking it down, I don't think.
What they say is sometimes to attack a problem, you got to try any solution.
What is the problem they're trying to attack?
They're trying to attack crappy employees coming out of colleges and high schools, like what we were just discussing. People with no communication skills, dependency on their phone constantly, no true life skills of their own. I mean, so I can see where they're coming from.
I can see taking away the phones, but the rest of it doesn't make any sense.
You don't think of public speaking?
Are you going to have?
They're giving them
your entire life being told what to do.
Well, they're giving them cooking lessons. They're giving them public speaking lessons. They're encouraging interpersonal communication skills by eating together as groups. I mean, those are valuable things that people today don't have. I invite my family over.
They're going to get to their job, and they're going to spend the day, and the day's going to be done. And they're going to boss to go, okay, what do I do next? And the boss is going to be like, I'm going home. And they're going to be like, but someone's supposed to tell me what to do next.
No, because I'll tell you what, I have my family over for dinner, and the moment the forks are down, their phones are out. Nobody has a conversation at dinner, and that's my own family. So you can imagine strangers. I think this is actually a really good idea. you know, small talk is dying. So I don't have a problem with them, you know.
Oh, this is true.
I don't have a problem with them encouraging that communication. And how, you know, how else are you supposed to foster friendships and connections if you don't give them those group environments to have that in? They can't speak in class.
What's the good of friendship if you can't ever spend any time with your friends?
Nothing said
Because
they
you're in
didn't have
class
that.
12 hours a day.
Well,
I'd really like to go and see a movie with them, but instead I'm doing a cooking class.
only Monday through Thursday. How many weeknights did you go out when you were in school?
I never went anywhere. That's why I'm.
But Michigan State.
All I know is that you spend all your life. You spend your high school years with your high school teachers telling you this is how life is going to be. You come into class. You take these. You have to take all these homework assignments. You go through and you get graded. And this is just the way it is. And then you get to college, and the professor is like, "Well, we have 5 tests. You pass those 5 tests, you pass the class. If I don't see you otherwise, who cares?" And then you're like, "What was I doing for the last 12 years in school?" And now I'm in college, and it's like, "Oh, this is the real world."
Yeah, and bosses do the same thing. They're like, here's 5 projects, finish them. I mean,
exactly.
Welcome to life. Life is constantly throwing you things that you have to adapt to. At least here, they're giving you some level of skills to take care of yourself. But anyway, Michigan State University, Miami University are all trying to do similar things. In fact, Miami University organized a dinner with senior leaders in order to teach proper mealtime etiquette and how to engage in conversations on neutral topics. So here they're telling you, hey, don't talk about sex, drugs, or religion. You know, with business people.
You do realize that our generation and earlier arguably were the ones that perfected the art of small talk. And now our generation are the ones that want to tell everybody, get off my lawn. I don't want to talk to you.
That's because we're not our generation anymore. We're our parents' age. And so now, hey, I am not opening my door with a gun in hand telling people to get off my lawn. I am just politely telling them, stay on the path. I mowed this. You know?
That is because you don't live in Jersey.
Or Texas. So, you know.
I got to tell you, there was a lady just before I came downstairs for the show. I look out my kitchen window. I say, who the hell is this lady taking pictures of the houses? Kim comes running over, ready to go out the front door and get crazy. And then I realize, oh, she's taking pictures of Halloween decorations around the neighborhood. I still don't like it, but I immediately went to my phone. I said, should we turn ours off? Because all mine are inflatables on a smart plug.
So let me get this straight. You put up holiday decorations to enhance the beauty of your home and bring joy to all those who pass. Mm-hmm. But how dare this woman outside take a picture of the wonderfulness that you spent hours putting together?
No. Let me be clear. When I saw her, it did not dawn on me at first that she was taking pictures of Halloween decorations. I thought she was just taking pictures of the houses, like he thought she was trying to be, surveying for Google or some crap.
Oh, I was going to say,
I don't want just random strangers taking pictures of my house.
Are you my wife? Do you think she was casing the place so that she could break in later on when she didn't see your car in the driveway and maybe steal your valuables?
What? Go ahead. What valuables? Go ahead.
Because my wife, if she saw somebody outside taking pictures, she would have been on Nextdoor posting that, going, hey, has anybody else had this person outside their house taking pictures? And me, I would have said, hey, this lady asked to take nudes of me. Has anybody seen her? Because that's the kind of guy I am on Nextdoor.
And see, I'm at the point where I'm like, send nudes. When I say send nudes is code for noodles. I need like pho or something. I'm hungry. Noods, nudes.
Well, but what kind of noodles do you want? Do you want American noodles or do you want UK noodles, which might not have as many ingredients in them?
Oh, I know UK. Well, hold on a minute. Hold on. UK. How about direct from Italy? If I want noodles like pasta. UK. I don't trust British food. UK food. Nobody. I don't know.
Don't trust.
What?
Don't trust the country that took over India just so that they could get some good food.
Yeah. Absolutely correct. I have heard this argument before, and I often wonder why in the hell. Why is it? This is why. All right. Well, maybe we should tell the story before we start jumping to conclusions here. Huh?
So one of the things that prompted looking at this article was, I watched the Try Channel, which is Irish people try different things. And one of the things that they constantly say is when they get things, especially from America, they're like, we don't have this over here because it's neon blue or because it's so red it looks like this Solo cup, or whatever. Because they just don't get, they have so many bans on things that we just willingly put into our bodies here. Okay? So, for example, you can see this if you look at the comparison between products that are available in the US versus products that are available in the UK and the difference in ingredients, okay? So, for example, if you look at McDonald's French fries, all right, the US ingredients are on the left: potatoes, vegetable oil, canola oil, corn oil, soybean oil, hydrogenated soybean oil, natural beef flavor, dextrose, sodium acid, phosphate, salt, fried in vegetable oil blended with citric acid, and some word I can't say. Meanwhile, in the UK, fries are made with potatoes, vegetable oil, sunflower, rapeseed, dextrose, fried in non-hydrogenated vegetable oil. Salt is added after cooking. There were no words I couldn't pronounce on the UK side of things. All right? Meanwhile, if you look at let's see here. Mountain Dew. This is a great one that people love to use because everybody knows it's neon green, right? Carbonated water, high fructose, corn syrup, concentrated orange juice, citric acid, natural flavor. Well, why don't you just list the flavor if it's natural? Sodium benzoate, caffeine, sodium citrate, erythorbic acid, gum arabic, calcium disodium, EDTA, brominated vegetable oil, yellow number 5. I know yellow number 5 is banned over there. Meanwhile, in the UK...
And brominated vegetable oil has now been banned in the US.
And in the UK, carbonated water, sugar, citric acid, ascorbic acid, caffeine, flavorings, potassium sorbate, gum arabic, and color, beta-carotene.
So... yeah, the color is interesting because I want to see if they have it here. Like, if you want another great example, just look up, go to Google and type Fanta Orange UK versus US. In the orange soda in the US gets its color from red number 40 and yellow number 6. Whereas the UK, they use carrots, pumpkins, and orange fruit.
Yeah.
So in the UK, it looks more like orange juice.
Yep.
In the US, Fanta tastes like orange because not the fruit, the color. Like, what's your favorite flavor Kool-Aid? Bing, red.
Yeah. So it was just some of them were really interesting. To me, just like, for example, ketchup. You think,
Ketchup.
okay,
Yes.
ketchup. How many things could there possibly be in ketchup? And granted, most of these I can at least say tomato concentrate, distilled vinegar, high fructose corn syrup, salt, spice, onion powder, natural flavoring. In the UK, tomatoes, spirit vinegar, sugar, salt, spice, and herb extract spice. Okay.
So,
Yes,
But
so they actually
here's
give
a
us more
question.
information about some of the spices.
No.
Yes. Yes, Mike.
here's the question. What's the difference? Why do you need high fructose corn syrup and corn syrup? Why can't you just use one or the other? Not like that's going to make it any better, but
They're completely different things. Because corn syrup is the stuff you could actually buy in the store. High fructose you can't. But actually, there is one thing more on the ketchup though. There, Shaggy.
Mm-hmm.
That is Simply Heinz. So if you go to the store, you'll see there's Heinz ketchup, but you also see Heinz Simply Heinz.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically the stuff on the right. It uses sugar instead of corn syrup.
Now, I know the answer to this question. So I'm going to say it fully knowing that I know the answer to this question. Why don't we just get the good stuff for us? You know, why does Heinz not just make one product that they can ship to the entire world rather than make a U.S. version and everywhere else version?
Because it costs more money to do that. It's cheaper to make ketchup in the U.S. for the U.S. and ketchup in the U.K. for the U.K. Now, here's a better, but along those lines though, Shaggy, there is the question of, so there's Heinz ketchup, there's Simply Heinz, and then there's Heinz Organic. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, between those three things, the Heinz Organic is still corn syrup. It's just, organic corn syrup.
Yeah.
So why couldn't they just make Simply Heinz, use organic tomatoes, and just have a single type of ketchup other than the original Heinz? Because some people, for whatever reason, they want the original corn syrupy Heinz. That's what they expect.
Well, I believe that was I believe corn syrup was one of the downfalls of a Coke product. Without corn syrup. Mexican, that was one of the Mexican Coke doesn't have any corn syrup. It's more expensive to make. People like it, but they can't make it in big enough. But if I remember right, I think they tried to make a Diet Coke that didn't have corn syrup, that maybe didn't have corn syrup. I don't know. There was
no diet sodas have corn syrup.
Maybe it was New Coke. Maybe it was New Coke that didn't have corn syrup in it, and that's why people hated it.
What you're getting is the myth that the reason why Coca-Cola did New Coke was so that they could use corn syrup. And then when they brought back Coca-Cola Classic, they used corn syrup in the Coca-Cola Classic. And so the whole thing was a way to get around people figuring out the difference. The problem with that is that they actually started using corn syrup in Coca-Cola before New Coke. So it had nothing to do with it. It's just a myth.
I don't know, but did you know there's Passover Coke too?
Yep.
So, yep, there is. All right. See here. So, what we've learned from this discussion is that Americans love preservatives and fake colors. That's what we've learned.
No. Americans have been conditioned to think that fake colors are good and bright colors are good, which is kind of funny because the younger generation, there's this whole thing now where houses are being decorated in what they're calling millennial gray. There's no color. Everything is just a different tone of gray. And it's like millennials who arguably are the ones that say, I don't want red number 9 and yellow number 17 in my food, are the ones that have steered away from color.
But aren't they the ones that use the filters on the gram to give them more color, pops of color?
Well, they do use the filters on the gram. You should stop ever saying the gram. We are too old to be doing that. Check out my Insta, yo. No, don't do that. Please don't do that. Your children will be embarrassed by you.
They're
also the ones. So they've gone to the school of Jenny McCarthy, where, and I kind of, I do agree with this to an extent, that all of these unnatural ingredients have led to an increase in all of these things that we never heard of growing up. Like, not every other child in class had ADHD.
Well, I will.
Yeah, we did.
I will.
Well, if they did,
it was
so. There's a whole other argument about this one, and I had this with an old high school classmate of mine. See, I was in that gifted and talented program when I was in high school, and I am slowly realizing just what kind of imprint, lasting effect that had on me as far as anxiety and what have you. And the question then became, as we're having this discussion, was the anxiety due to being placed into this special class, or were we placed in the special class because that's how they dealt with the anxiety that we were illustrating?
Well, I fall back to a Bill Engvall joke. I had ADHD once. My father took care of it. It was a home therapy.
Wow.
So I think sometimes people are looking for excuses for bad behavior.
Oh, no, it has nothing to do with the bad behavior, kids. That's one thing, but ADHD actually,
I'm not saying that there are not some legitimate cases. Okay, I'm not going to say there aren't, but I am saying that there are a lot of parents out there who are looking for a justification for their poor parenting. Okay, for their the poor results of their children.
Yeah.
All right.
I can see that. I see a lot of younger parents, and by younger I don't mean like teen mom. I mean, maybe a generation before mine. I see a lot of those parents that would rather say my child is on the spectrum than say I screwed up as a parent.
Yeah. I have a sister who wants to be her children's friend. You are not their friend. You are their parent.
That happens later in life when you're prepping them to change your diapers for you.
Yeah. So, that's my opinion, and my opinion can be wrong, but it's my opinion. All right. So, all right. It is a quarter till. It is, well, let's see here. Okay, Mike, we need to get to this because I know that this has a special place in your heart. All right. Saved by the Bell.
This is a bullshit. Oh my God.
All right. Saved by the Bell evidently is coming back again.
As a reboot.
I cannot believe that they are going to do this. I definitely can't. No. This doesn't. No,
There's one reason and one reason only. Somebody wants to break the record, or whatever you want to call it, that was held by Dustin Diamond as being the only character to appear in every iteration of Saved by the Bell, from the original Good Morning Miss Bliss to Saved by the Bell to Saved by the Bell, the college years, to Saved by the Bell, the next gen, but not the reboot, which I believe wasn't that called Bayside or something? What was the
Bayside
one
High, maybe.
Yeah, it wasn't called Saved by the Bell, I don't think, with Slater and Jesse, and because he wasn't in that one because he died.
The New Class. Saved by the Bell, the New Class. And yes. The series spawned 3 spin-offs: Saved by the Bell, the college year, Saved by the Bell, the New Class, and Saved by the Bell 2020. Also gave rise to 2 spin-off movies: Saved by the Bell Hawaiian Style and Saved by the Bell Wedding in Vegas. That is according to Saved by the Bell Wiki Fandom.
Okay, hold on a second. Because what's the one that was just on like Peacock?
Which is really sad for a series that only had a 3-year original run. You know, we didn't get as many.
That was just called Saved by the Bell.
We didn't get as many spinoffs from Friends, I don't know. Did we get as many spinoffs from Cheers? What do we get from?
Were there any spinoffs from Friends?
Well, they tried to do a Joey. They tried.
I thought that was a different show though with the same.
No,
actor.
I think it was supposed to be a spinoff. And what? So out of Cheers,
it was still Joey Tribbiani.
Out of Cheers, we got Frasier, and then we got. We didn't get News Radio out of that, did we? I don't think so.
No.
I don't think you can call Night Court out of that.
Nope.
No, because it's a different character. I think I'm thinking Cheers and Friends for the longest show runs that I can remember. I mean, next to MASH, and
MASH didn't have a spinoff.
No.
Well, after MASH, but
yeah, no,
that don't count.
Don't count that.
The Golden Girls had the Golden Palace.
Didn't they?
Don't count that either.
I just learned that there was a British spinoff of the Golden Girls. A British version of the Golden Girls.
I will.
I mean, there was a spinoff from Golden Girls. It was Empty Nest.
Yeah, Empty Nest happened.
That's right. You're right. I forgot that was a spinoff, but
yeah, it was a late spinoff.
It's more of a reverse pilot.
Yeah, kind of.
Married with Children didn't have any spinoffs, did it?
No, it did not.
Of course, All in the Family had plenty of spinoffs. None of them were any good.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. You won't call
the Jeffersons.
Jeffersons was good.
As I'm thinking about it, only one of them wasn't good. Because you had the Jeffersons, and I think Maude also was. I never watched Maude.
Maude was good.
It was a spinoff.
It was pretty popular. Covered a lot of topics.
I was thinking. Anyway, the one with the daughter as a spinoff wasn't very good.
Mm.
And if you consider Archie's Place a spinoff or just a continuation.
What was 227 a spinoff of? Can't remember that one. 227 was a spinoff of something, but I can't remember what it was.
Oh, Living Color was Cosby. I'm not sure if 227 was or not.
No, in Living Color was just a stand-up. You're thinking
no, not
a
Living
different
Color.
world.
Yes, different world. That's what I was saying. Yes.
No, it was
No,
it wasn't actually a spin-off. It just had Florence from the Jeffersons, the actress, and it was
and then it was then Jack Hay evidently was supposed to be a spinoff, but it wasn't. All right.
Oh, I just remembered. So, Shaggy, Matlock, did you watch it?
I hated it.
I did not watch it. Fully admit.
I watched one episode, hated it.
But the point is it wasn't really a remake.
No, they could have called it anything but Matlock, and we're gonna get into calling it anything but. The name the new game we're gonna play called Anything But. Name it Anything But here as we spin up our movie review for this evening. So, Mike, I believe you are on tap for tonight's movie review summary.
I am.
It was a recommendation by you for tonight's Netflix original, I believe, called Hitman.
All right. So, this movie starts with a note that it is based on the life of Gary Johnson and is somewhat true. For some reason, I remember hearing about Gary Johnson. It may have been in the publicity tour or the junkets for this movie, but now I want to go Google this guy. Now, we start the movie by seeing Glenn Campbell's character in his real-life job as a teacher. He drives a Civic, and even as a nerd who wears jorts and has underboob sweat, he is a better-looking man than I can ever dream of being. Damn you, genetics. And his face is pretty forgettable. What? This other detective guy is like on crack. If forgettable? Okay. So we sit here and we listen to Gary talking about how he's going to deal with this hit as he's pretending to be a hitman. He sounds way too knowledgeable on this topic. I mean, the guy knows way too many details, like he has thought this through. And this is why they need to stop putting these murder shows on TV. Quit documenting a freaking how-to on all of these streaming services, how to get away with murder, how to do this. Please. You are setting up a generation of massacres. Moving on. The line is now blurring between Gary and Ron, real life and hitman, and it's all because of a woman. A beautiful woman that drinks beer from a bottle, likes to dress up in costumes, and... Sorry, I digress. Maybe we'll circle back. I don't know. But the movie is now bouncing back and forth between Master of Disguise and a Skinamax flick. And it's doing a great job at showcasing Glenn's acting range because every time he plays a different hitman, he's got a new character. But it's just getting stupid. Right? Now the line gets even more blurred when his new girlfriend X shows up. And, of course, the cop he replaced shows up. And it's a giant web that's getting way too tangled. I haven't been this confused trying to keep track of everything since I watched the movie Tenet. Now the truth comes out. This is where the movie goes completely off the rails. Folks, if you made it to this point, the way that this movie ends felt rushed and incomplete, like they came on set one day and said, okay, listen, today's the last day we can pay anybody. So let's wrap this up. And that's how the story ends. But I guess that kind of matches the entire storyline. I don't know. So listen, Puke to Snikes. I gave this a meh. I really wanted to like this movie. And I might have been I was the one who put it on the list. But I feel like this could have been a 45-minute special with commercials and been better. Cut out all the fortuitous sex scenes, and you've got a better movie here. By the way, the sex scenes may have been the most entertaining part of the movie. The only other note that I have, how come every time in these movies, it's got to be a plumbing van that they're using for surveillance?
All right, I'll go next, and then we'll let Colin finish it up. How dare you say take out the sex scenes? All right, you are correct. Best parts of the movie. This woman looks like a young Selma Hayek, and I am all for it. All right, this movie does drag on too damn long. All right, they could have cut it easily a half hour out of this movie, but I do like this guy's commitment to playing the hitman. He's got wigs, he's got makeup, he's got accents. He is becoming the whole package in this portrayal of what people want. And I could have done with a few more setups. We saw, different angry people, looking to set up their a hit. I wanted to see more examples of that. I loved the redneck lady who wanted to give him the boat. I would have liked to have seen him in more costumes because I thought that was hilarious that he thought that a redneck woman really wanted a Russian hitman, basically a ripoff of Val Kilmer, when he was in the Saint, basically. So that was the best parts of the movie was that. I agree with Mike that the end of the movie felt a bit rushed, but this is a movie where, the end is what you want, but you don't know that you want it until the end. My wife went, huh? That's how it ended? Really? Yes, that's how it ended. Really. And that's how you wanted it to end.
No.
Yes. That's how you wanted it to end.
This was Avalanche Sharks.
No.
Don't look back.
You wanted it to end talking about a bake sale at a school. That's how you wanted it to end. And the line about pie, I'm going to use.
No, you're not.
Yes. Sometime I'm going to use the line about pie. As long as it's apple or chocolate silk or peach, I don't care for blueberry.
Strawberry rhubarb.
No, absolutely not. That would be a bad pie.
Pumpkin.
So
That's the best pie.
no,
Sweet
don't like
potato.
pumpkin. Nope, hate those pie. Okay, so there is such a thing as a bad pie.
See?
So
Don't use the line.
no, I have to. No, you got to.
Pizza.
It's like I had to see About a Girl. Sometimes you have to use the line. So I am with Mike. I am going to give this a meh. It would get higher if it was a shorter movie. There are some things which needed to be cut out of this movie. But just because there is basically a young Salma Hayek in this movie, that's going to keep it at least in the meh category. And flight attendant uniform. That should have elevated it right there. All right, Colin, you're up.
So I'll echo everything you said, except that I came up with a way to describe this movie to someone who hasn't seen this movie, and you're trying to tell them what as succinct a way as possible. Okay? Imagine that you're watching the first Deadpool movie, except that the people who wrote it and directed it decided that the movie would be better if Wade never actually becomes Deadpool, and we add an extra hour watching him at the doctor looking at his cancer. That's what it felt like watching this movie.
I can see it. All right, so
what'd you give it?
I said it. I'm sorry. When I said I echoed everything, I included the rating.
Okay.
Oh, meh. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
Now,
I will say though that I would take the girl from Hitman over Vanessa.
well, yeah,
From Deadpool.
you're gonna take Selma. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to use my line. I referred to Glenn as discount Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dollar store Brad Pitt. I can see it. But a good dollar store. Maybe a Family Dollar.
That's why. Yeah. That's
Maybe
why I didn't say. It's like
Five Below Brad Pitt. That's what he is.
I just next best thing to Brad Pitt. If you can't get Brad Pitt,
If you
here's
can't
your
get
guy.
Brad Pitt, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If the only thing that would have made it worse is if somehow he. Oh no, that's Johnny Depp. Never mind. I was going to say if somehow he dressed as a pirate for one of these things.
Well, if you want to see him again, He's in Twisters. He's one of the leads in Twisters.
Well, he was also in Top Gun Maverick. That's where he kind of broke onto the scene. Where
Evidently, he's in Expendables 3 as well.
Wasn't he in? Did we review the movie with?
Evidently, he was also in The Dark Knight Rises. I don't remember him there. And he was in Hidden
Did I
Figures.
just watch the movie, or did we review the movie where with him and Sydney Sweeney?
What movie is that?
Oh,
Is it called Red Wing?
oh, it's Glenn Powell, not Glenn Campbell.
Oh, okay.
I gotta go revise.
Okay.
Anyone but you?
Oh, no.
Oh, no, I guess I just watched it. Okay.
All right. Well, we've handpicked the last couple, so I feel like we need to do a random this time.
Okay. And Shaggy, you are on deck for this one. So
Okay.
1 to 26. Choose your fate wisely, sir.
15.
15. Well, why do I feel like... Wait a second. I feel like we've watched this.
What?
Treasure of the Four Crowns on Amazon.
Boy,
A mercenary history professor and a group of ragtag adventurers set out to retrieve a set of 4 mystical crowns stolen by a diabolical cult leader with plans for world domination. Why do I feel like we've watched this?
Boy, I don't remember it.
I mean, yes, we've probably watched that movie 50 times, but
Well, okay, fair point.
It's on MGM Plus though. Is that something we can watch?
I don't
wait,
know.
no, MGM Plus.
Oh, it's on Prime.
Oh, it's on
It's on
Prime.
Prime. It's okay. It's on Prime. It's from 1983. All right.
MGM Plus is also Amazon. It's yet another thing. It's like, hey, you already pay us for this and you pay us for that. How about you pay us again for the same stuff?
All right. All right, folks. Well, that's what we're going to watch. Treasure of the Four Crowns. So,
Okay.
that ought to be fun. It's got 4 out of 5 stars, according to IMDb.
I don't know. I don't know.
If we look at the trailer later and find out that we've watched it, we can always pick another one.
No, we didn't. I checked.
Especially if it's 3 hours long.
No, it's only an hour and 40 minutes.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh. No, I did a search of the reviewed. We didn't. We didn't watch it. I know we watched something similar. I think you're right. This is probably like a Hallmark type plot. For God's sakes. But
It's a Hallmark Indiana Jones. So, all right. Well, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to tell everybody you know about the show. We will be back on the 21st. That's right. On the 21st will be our next show. And we will have lots to catch up on. We'll probably have some new aches and pains to report. We'll talk about, maybe somebody will have gout by then. We'll talk about our favorite antacids. And, what ligament joint compound is working best for us that week. So you can tune in for all those things plus more on the next episode of PTR Radio. Don't forget to tell all your friends about us at PTR Radio on all your favorite social media channels. So with that said, folks, I'm Shaggy.
I'm Colin.
I'm like the 8 man.
Stick a fork in us, folks. We are done. Later.